right, welcome back to the World Staffing Summit 2025. Today we have already explored the enterprise perspective on AI and have taken a deep dive into the future of how a staffing company might look like. Now it's time to focus on how recruitment leaders can stay ahead by integrating AI into their business models today. For this conversation, we're bringing in a company that sits at the center of the recruitment ecosystem. With its vast professional network, AI-powered hiring solutions, and deep industry insights, LinkedIn has been driving innovation in the recruitment space for years now. And no one understands this shift better than our guest, Adam Hawkins. Adam leads LinkedIn's largest industry verticals across the talent solution businesses in EMEA and Latin America, working with clients to deliver value across hiring, learning, and employee engagement. He has been at the forefront of how AI is reshaping recruitment, helping staffing firms not only adopt AI, but also rethink their business models for the long term. And for those who have been part of the World Staffing Summit in the past, Adam has been a guest already, and he's been a fantastic guest before, so we knew we had to bring him back to share his latest insights on AI and the future of recruitment. Adam, great to have you back. Before we jump into the big questions, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your work at LinkedIn?
Yeah, and good to see you. And I think you've done a sterling job of an intro, but for those that don't know me, I've been in the industry 23 years now, Jan, predominantly within agency side. So I worked at the Adecco Group for 16, 17 years. And that was a sort of plethora of roles between running recruitment businesses, but also working in strategy, in-house consulting. And I think probably there, Jan, I really started to sort of scratch the itch around sort of innovation, digital, leading that sort of innovation sort of function, and then continued to do I'd say sort of advisory consulting, especially in sort of business modernization, and then have been at LinkedIn the last 7 years, and as you said, work across the recruitment industry, and that sort of stems really from small businesses through to like the full human capital solutions, helping really the industry be fueled by insights, but also advocate for the importance of the role of the recruiter, and ensuring that we build enabling technology to effectively fulfill our mission and vision, which is to create economic opportunity for the entire workforce. So yeah.
Great. Awesome. No, I'm very excited for this conversation. And, as we've seen, AI in recruitment isn't something that's coming. It's already here. We're seeing staffing firms actively using AI to automate their workflows on a daily basis, improving candidate matching, and even enhancing client engagement. But in reality, many recruitment leaders are still unsure about how to fully integrate AI into their operations. Some see it as an efficiency tool, maybe others see it as a game changer for how to deliver client value, and then others, of course, are still on the sidelines, waiting how things will play out with AI. You've been at LinkedIn, and at LinkedIn, you have a global view of how staffing firms are approaching AI. So from your perspective, how should a recruitment leader think about AI today?
I mean, let's start with a big question then, Jan. We talk about recruitment, but I would say in all honesty, I don't think it's just the recruitment industry. I think everyone that's running a business today is thinking about, the impact of, I wouldn't just say AI as well. I would say, we need to understand the differences between automation, between AI, generative AI, but also like emerging tech. And we're at this inflection point. I think it wouldn't be, a disservice to say that we are probably not all going to see a change like this within our lifetimes ever again. It is a major, I would say, technology revolution that we're all undergoing. And I don't think there's a single answer, Jan, to how a recruitment business is thinking about this. I think every kind of thought is going on in people's heads, and that changes by geography, by size of company. I think the one stat that we see is, there are many stats to support AI adoption, and I would say the positives around that it's going to obviously increase productivity, efficiency, optimization, also quality, and raise the bar. But we see 2 out of 5 professionals are anxious about technology, and specifically AI. And why is that? When you unpack that, Jan, it's not really that there's a lack of belief. I think it's the pace to keep up. We absolutely see that.
So you're thinking some are still a little bit overwhelmed, and the pace is too fast for some of the, specifically maybe the recruitment leaders, that is changing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we only have to look at ourselves. I think we're probably all overwhelmed, asking ourselves questions every day of what's the right technology to use. Firstly, ethically, is it safe? Where's this going to have an impact to our business? I think there's a couple of things I would probably encourage people to think about. A lot of the conversation when we think about any change process tends to gravitate to what's going to be left behind in the age of AI. I think I would like to reframe that question of like what's possible. We could tie this to the macro environment and say, if you look at lead indicator markets like Japan and Germany, where you've got certainly strong skill scarcity and talent scarcity already, we're going to need some level of efficiency tool to help us certainly bridge that gap. And I think the other thing is, when we think about disruption and change, we tend to think about, as I said, we gravitate to what's left behind. My viewpoint on this is that AI is not coming for our job. It's coming for our tasks, right? So whether you're a recruiter yourself or running a recruitment business, or even a recruitment business serving to find jobs, I think the transition now is to look at jobs in a very different lens, which is jobs are effectively a combination of skills and tasks.
Yeah.
And if you understand what tasks can be done at scale and more efficiently, and I would say I would challenge to the point that could be done to a higher level of quality, that is going to give recruitment businesses the opportunity to do what I would call deeper work. I was recruited and trained as a recruiter, and I was never hired for administration, keeping the database up to date, etc., etc. We can already see many stats. If we look at like AI assisted searches on the platform, we already see with those generative features that we see an 18+ higher in-mail response rate. We're already seeing with 10% faster acceptance rates. That's indicators that and these are just features. We're not even talking about the rollout of things like hiring assistants, where we're already seeing that a recruiter can save potentially a day, a week on having automation. That's a good news story for the recruitment industry.
Yeah, the time saving. And when you look at the most forward-thinking staffing firms, the ones that have already maybe integrated AI into the workflows, from your experience working with global staffing leaders, what do you think sets the most forward-thinking staffing firms apart from others that are already using AI in their workflows?
Well, I think the headline is they're embracing it. I don't think there are too many recruitment businesses or any businesses that could say that they figured it out, Jan.
Yeah.
But I think there's an acceptance that AI is already here. It's not something that we're thinking about and preparing. It's AI does exist. I mean, I saw a very interesting stat the other day that 78% of AI users are already bringing their own tools to work, and that's as high as 80% in small companies. So that's an acceptance that whether you have built in enterprise level AI technology in your business, which is safe and secure to do experimentation and problem solving, if you don't have that, your individuals are already bringing AI into the workplace already. So to answer the question of like where are we, what I would call like pace setters, I think they're doing a couple of things, Jan. I think one is they're building their own awareness of what truly generative AI is, because I don't know about you, but I know I have a lot of connections in the industry, and every day they're receiving a cold call of the next sort of silver bullet or the next piece of tech that's going to change the game. Two things on that is it really generative AI or is it automation? And automation is fine, but really understanding what you're buying.
Yeah.
Also, does it integrate an API into your system? Because I sit on a number of different boards around innovation, and what you see is that with the rise of SaaS and cloud and AI, it's quite easy to acquire and use and test AI. And there's a danger that you're sort of Frankensteining a monster if it doesn't sort of build into an ecosystem. So understanding what you're considering buying, does it build in, and obviously what happens with the data, so making sure things are like enterprise level. And I think that the main thing around, and it goes to the point about sort of the overwhelming nature of all this change and all these options that are available to all of us, is innovation really stems from not finding something that is new and potentially doesn't exist. It is often driven off problem solving. So the pace setter recruitment businesses are really doing two things. One is that they're identifying the core problems that they're facing in the business. And the second is they're embracing what I would call the digital natives in the business. So the people that are savvy and are probably the cohort that are bringing their own AI, and they're building what I would sort of classify as playgrounds, so safe and secure areas where they can test and play and experiment and measure the results of that. And obviously when those results are clear and you can see those productivity, optimization, efficiency, and even quality gains in the business, then you can then move into like a scaled approach.
That's definitely a great perspective. And while preparing for the sessions, I looked into some of your previous talks, and you've spoken about the idea of transformation as usual. I love the phrase because it captures the reality where we are today. Change is constant, but if you're not evolving, you're falling behind. In the past, for me, digital transformation felt like one project with a start and an end date, but now with AI, it's transformation is ongoing. So it's really a mindset. Can you maybe unpack what transformation as usual means to you in perspective of the recruitment landscape, and what is critical for staffing firms with that concept?
Yeah. So if you sort of zoom out a little bit here and you think about the customers of a recruitment business, and it applies to recruitment businesses as well, but if you look at the whole sort of talent economy and the talent landscape, there's always been complexity, but I would say certainly from the back of the pandemic, talent leaders, so people running businesses, CHROs particularly, are dealing with many different complex people strategy type initiatives. So that could be related to skills first, it could be sustainability agendas, it could be modern work, what is the right formula to have people in the office or at home, and what does that look like? You've obviously got emerging tech, you've got 5 generations in the workforce now, so how do you unify generations in the workforce? These are big blocks, right? And everybody is talking about AI, but what that shows to me is that businesses are undergoing massive change. All of these topics, and these topics have many subtopics, right, Jan? They're all hyper connected, and that's super complex for businesses to navigate and prioritize. So what that tells me, and it goes to your initial opening of the question, which is why transformation as usual, because there is no real start and end date right now. So can businesses, both recruitment businesses and the customers of recruitment businesses, start to build a skills sort of bench and portfolio that is well equipped to be in sort of continuous evolution? And I think these are skills that every business needs to have, both at an individual level, but also from a team point of view. I was at actually a lunch last week, and I was talking to somebody at a big 4 consulting firm, and they were like, one of the biggest demands that they're seeing right now is change and risk skills, because the business is in that constant sort of evolution. And I think this is something that some of the leading businesses that I've been working with are doing, is that they are building benches of individuals that are fully employed to work on these change and transformation initiatives through the business. And actually that's really interesting, because if you look at younger generations coming into the workforce, they want variety, they want continuous projects and skills, and this is also a good area around retention as well.
Retention, yeah, exactly. And one interesting point that I'm seeing is, for a long time, staffing and recruiting firms it has been about access to talent, finding, screening, placing people, very transactional now. But with AI, that is changing, right? So there could be new value propositions, new business offerings that a staffing company could offer to their customers. What do you think are the things that the staffing company can offer in addition to the the transactional value or the efficiency that they've been bringing in the past? Could be something like deeper insights or predictive hiring trends even.
Well, I'll make quite a bold statement here, Jan. I think I'm very, very passionate about the recruitment industry and proud. But like all industries, what we see ahead of us is a major opportunity. Now that comes with risks of staying stagnant. If you think around the sort of universal pull here, which is there just aren't going to be enough skills. If you look at skills needed to do work, the skills are going to shift by 70% by 2030. So, Jan, if you and I are in the same job by 2030, our job will look 70% different. Right? Yeah. So that's huge for businesses, which is a big opportunity for recruitment firms. I'd say most, of the larger recruitment firms I work with are acknowledging that they are not just a recruitment firm; they are a talent organization that they're working. And they're starting to understand that, when I was trained as a recruiter, it was all around, screen out, and I mean that in a positive way. It was a quality control, building pipelines, shortlisting, screening out for the talent that they maybe didn't have time to find.
Yeah.
I think the universal shift now is that a recruitment business is about selecting, identifying talent pools, adjacent skills, adjacent industries. That's a huge opportunity. But in order to do that, it has to be underpinned by data and insights. If you're going to consult and advise your customer that a candidate that might not be the typical profile or skill profile is a good fit for your company, you have all the data available, and that's only going to improve. But you are going to build new skills for recruiters, which my belief is a recruiter will look much, much more like a talent strategist, which will be around advisory, around insights, storytelling with data, analytical skills. These create new business revenue opportunities. I'm already seeing a big shift in the industry around, many of the larger firms are, investing significantly in full-scale advisory functions. You're seeing more businesses look at statement of work, project type businesses, and this could be in all areas. It could be recruit, train, deploy. It could be employee branding. Branding is going to be a key, or EVP is one of the biggest spend items. Reskilling, for example, implementation around emerging tech. The recruitment industry is one of the best place to consult on that. So for me, you can see I get excited around all of these opportunities. But in order to do that, to capitalize on the opportunity where recruitment businesses have never been more needed, they're fundamentally going to have to embrace the opportunity of AI to not just provide what I would call the foundational layer of productivity, efficiency, optimization, quality. And with that time, at the moment, most recruitment businesses are bringing that, are looking to find that time. And then the question is, what do you do with that? My advice and my belief is that it's around now doing deeper work, and deeper work being the opportunity to provide new value propositions, to provide new revenue streams. But that is going to require the evolution of the skill set of a recruiter to be a talent strategist.
Talent strategist, exactly. Yeah, using the time in a different way than before. And if we look at it maybe from like a practical perspective, people who are watching, staffing leaders, like what are the maybe 2 or 3 things that you would do if you would be leading a recruitment business today in this situation?
Well, I think it starts with the leader. I was at a Financial Times AI conference, and I was asked the question of, where's the best place to start? And I actually responded back to that individual and said, how much do you use AI yourself? And the response was, well, I've got ChatGPT and I play with it a little bit. And I was like, who owns the decision on your AI strategy? And that individual said, me. And I said, okay, so you are being asked, and we've discussed here for the last sort of 20 minutes, these are big, right, strategic questions, aren't they?
Yeah.
And, so for me, the first thing is like, we have to be as leaders, very, very AI fluent, and, I have a 10-year-old son. He's, it's second nature to him. He's a tablet generation, Think about all the people in the business. They are going to be potentially more data literate and AI fluent than we are. We have to close that gap immediately to understand AI, the implications, both ethically, responsibly, but also the potential where that sits. I think the second area is, and it stems to my point around the anxiety piece, is getting yourself more in control and focus on what are the problems. I mean, AI could solve a million things, and there are a million sources of AI functionality to do that. But really narrowing in on your requirements of what are the immediate things and the pain points and the problems and the biggest opportunities in the business. And then I think the third point, which relates to where you asked me about what, future thinking or pace setter organizations are focused, it's then about embracing these playgrounds that are enterprise level in terms of safety. You have your problem in there, and you're building the AI fluency of the leader through the people that are already, AI fluent, data literate, the digital generation. So you get that element of reverse mentoring. And then I think the final thing is thinking, not, using the analytics to see where you can have the impact, and then the impact at scale, but then it's definitely thinking about the potential. And I think that's probably the biggest area at the moment, is the technology is going to allow my business, hypothetically, to focus much more on human, strategic and deeper work. So I wouldn't be stopping at just the productivity and the efficiency, because that will be the table stake. You would now have the opportunity to explore what deeper work means and human strategic work. I think that's the opportunity of the time gained, whether that's a day, a week back. How can your business be using those skills to effectively future-proof and capitalize the opportunity for the market ahead?
Yeah, I love the idea of deeper work, and you've shared some really valuable insights on how recruitment firms can navigate the AI landscape. Before we wrap up, is there maybe one specific advice you would give to recruitment leaders, for their future, how they, should use AI? Anything that we haven't discussed today, like one piece that you want to, give to the audience?
I think, it's more encouragement that whilst I appreciate the world is unclear, and we're in probably still a level of hype. The world will normalize, but AI is here, and it being very, very effective. I think the leaders that are going to get ahead and future-proof their businesses and reinvent themselves are the ones that are going to understand the limitations. And remember, AI is a tool, right? They're going to understand the limitations and the risks around being responsible, but they're going to have a mindset of not focusing on what's left behind and what's going to be taken away, and focusing on what's possible. That's my encouragement to all leaders, is that working out what's possible means for your business, and what deeper work means for your business, means that the recruitment industry has never had a bigger opportunity to make a meaningful impact in all of talent strategy. The question is, can the industry take that opportunity to evolve and reinvent itself? That is my encouragement, and challenge the industry.
Challenge the industry. Awesome.
And I'm super confident they can do it, because talent scarcity, skill scarcity is a challenge for every business. If you don't have good people, that's going to be a challenge. So we're poised to do that.
we're very excited to see how this will play out. Thank you so much, Adam, for joining us today. It's always great to have you at the World Staffing Summit. Hope to see you back next year. And to all of you in the audience, I hope this session was practical and give you some takeaways for your teams. Thanks again, Adam, for joining us. And
thanks for having me.
Stay tuned for the next session.
Thank you.